are back. This is episode number 12 of the Full Court Report.
Yazerski.
How you guys doing? You guys ready for the All-Star game later?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
watch Team KD win.
No, no.
Yeah,
no.
it's gonna be an interesting one. Kevin Durant's out.
Mm,
Joel
Embiid is
Embiid is
out.
out. I think Devin Booker's gonna be out. A lot
yeah.
of injuries to Team KD, so
Still going to take this dub, though, so I'm not even concerned or worried.
we'll see. But speaking of Kevin Durant, while his All-Star team might not be, on the come up, on the rise, certainly his Brooklyn Nets are, as it was reported on Friday that the Detroit Pistons agreed to buy out six-time All-Star Blake Griffin after 4 seasons with the team. Detroit's general manager, Troy Weaver, he told reporters last month that Griffin would be held out of the lineup as the team looked for a trade partner, but that was to no avail, as seemingly no team wanted to trade for a player that was going to make nearly $40 million next year on a player option, and a guy who, has dealt with a lot of injuries the past couple of years and has fallen off from where he was, say, 5 years ago, as one of the best power forwards in the league. But on Friday, it was reported that Blake Griffin is reportedly expected to sign with the Brooklyn Nets,
Yes, sir.
reuniting with his former teammate DeAndre Jordan. I mean, I saw a tweet earlier this week. I think I sent it to you guys. A team with Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan, like 5 years ago, would probably go 82-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being honest, or at least something like something.
I mean,
ridiculous.
but you got to consider the other teams that were in the league at the
79.
time.
But I guess with Griffin now in town, I mean, he hasn't officially signed with the Nets, but that's apparently his most likely destination. Is there anyone that can beat this team? I mean, after the James Harden trade, it seemed like they were the favorites, but this really just might be putting them over the top. What do you guys think?
Nah. Ain't nothing to worry about.
Hater Dovey.
He's not the same Blake, man. He's not the same Blake. He hasn't played. He hasn't been playing at all. But I just looked it up. He is on the second longest streak of his career without a dunk in a game. And it's 12 and counting. His longest streak's 14. So Blake, he's just not that same athletic, dominant interior force that he used to be. He's not going to be able to put Pau Gasol in a coffin. Like, he's not going to be able to do that anymore.
Okay, well, I mean, you say that, but you have to keep in mind that his game has changed a lot in terms of like him being able to develop a jump shot. Although I do kind of agree with you, I don't think he's going to have as big of an impact with Brooklyn as some people may think, just for the fact that like he can shoot as a power forward, but we already sort of have that in Jeff Green, who's been shooting
He's
like
been
50% this year from three. And Jeff Green also, being that he's like, 34, 35, he can still drive, he can dunk, he's still got hops. I sort of see him being the starter, although we got to see. But at the end of the day, the Nets needed, power forward centers, and I am very happy with this signing if it goes through.
I just think that the team is going to realize that they have a guy in Jeff Green that can do what they are going to need Blake Griffin to do. So I think at a certain point this season, they're just going to realize he's wasting space on the roster for.
Well, not really. I mean, I wouldn't say he's wasting space, because it's not like unless the Nets had like made another trade, they're not going to get anybody better at the position. that everybody says that they need. So
I guess for what was available, I guess a couple moves, but my whole thing about it is, if there wasn't one team, not one team, willing to trade for Blake, even just for the sake of the Nets not being able to sign him off a buyout, he's gotta be like terrible. He's gotta be in terrible shape.
His contract is like insane for what he's producing. Nobody wants to pick that just for the sake of him not going to the Nets. I mean, he could have signed anywhere if they offered the right amount of money, but he saw the Nets as the best to win the title. So there you go.
It's not fair. This isn't fair. It's not fair.
I do want to point out though.
Oh, go
ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm pretty sure he's only played like 38 games over the last 2 seasons because of injuries. But the year before that, he was an all-star. So he's really, he's barely half a season removed in terms of like actually playing from being like a high-level all-star player.
I mean, what were his actual?
And he's been resting.
What were his injuries?
It was surgeries, I think. I think there was a couple surgeries over just some light stuff.
Damn.
It wasn't nothing serious, I don't think. Like, it was.
I think he still got it.
I think it was knee injuries, like fixes knee soreness, things like that. It makes sense because of his play style earlier in his career. That's a lot of wear and tear on his legs. All the highlights that he was.
Part of me is saying that he's not the same Blake, because if he is the same Blake, it's over. And I'm trying to like tell myself that he's not gonna be good, but this might be.
This is the team.
I don't think anybody has a chance at this point.
I don't think it's the same Blake. I think it's similar to the situation that happened with the Warriors not too long ago when they just got DeMarcus Cousins out of nowhere, and he's just going to be like a role player essentially for them. Like, I don't expect Blake Griffin to average like 20 and 10 on the Nets. Like, I don't think
this might happen. The one good thing though about Blake not being as athletic as he used to be, and the guy he was back with Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan, he kind of turned into a little bit of like a point forward. He kind of learned how to handle the ball. He can bring it up. He's got a little bit of a jumper. So who knows? We might see Blake Griffin out here running this offense.
But I did want to point out earlier, off of the bench, Nick Claxton has been playing great basketball.
I'll give it to you.
He gets gassed like pretty.
I'll give it to you.
But the way he fits with James Harden as like a pick and roll lob threat, and he can also shoot and handle the ball and create his own shot. Like, I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't expect Blake Griffin to start in the starting 5.
That would be surprising to me if he didn't start. Just for the sake of maybe they're trying to make a scary, like the scariest starting lineup they can come up with. The Monstars.
I think they're going to stick with Bruce Brown though.
I like Bruce Brown a lot.
He's been playing great.
I had a feeling he was going to be good for them because just defensively he does it.
Defensively, yeah, and he gets boards too. He almost plays like a power forward, but like
plays just a lot bigger than his actual. What is he, like 6? He's only like 6'4" or 6'5", right?
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5".
So he plays a lot bigger than he actually.
Harder of a height, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, the Nets. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be really tough.
I mean, it already is now, but if they get Griffin, that's not gonna be. It's gonna be almost impossible to match up with that team. But another team in the Eastern Conference that got some good news, the Indiana Pacers, On Thursday, it was reported that the newly acquired wing Caris LeVert is on track to return to court during the second half of the regular season. He was sent to Indiana back in January as part of the 4-team deal that sent James Harden to the Nets, but he has not played since because the team found a mass on his kidney during a routine MRI during the trade, and he subsequently underwent surgery to get that fixed. So, but now he's back, or potentially could be back for the second half of the season. So, I mean, how does that impact the Eastern Conference playoffs? Because the Pacers, they've been pretty solid despite, I think we talked about this not too long ago, trading away Oladipo. I mean, that was a 20-point per game score for them. They just basically gave him up for essentially nothing for the time being. So if you get Caris LeVert back, who was very solid for the Nets before his absence, the Pacers could make some noise in the playoffs this year, I think. But what do you guys think?
Well, sadly for now, we were talking highly of them at the beginning of the season. In the first couple of episodes, we were saying how they'd be one of those players who would sneak into like the top 3 or 4 seeds, or one of those teams. But back in the Eastern Conference standings, they are now the 10th seed, barely staying in the play-in game at 16-19, half a game ahead of Atlanta, half a game behind Chicago. I think for Caris to be a valuable piece to this team, all he's got to do is keep him in that play-in tournament. If he can keep him in that 7 to 10 seed range, that's all. He's done his job as the new trade piece to the team.
All right, Justin, I want to just mention something. You said that we all thought the Pacers were going to possibly be a top 4 team, but I never thought that. Okay.
Really?
I just want to get that out of the way.
Okay. I know
Don't
me and
forget
Jorie.
don't forget
I know
I said
me
the-
and Jorie. Yeah, me and Jorie were high on these Pacers at the beginning of the season.
Don't forget I said the Hornets were going to be better than the Pacers.
Are they right now?
I think they are.
Yeah, at the moment the Hornets are 17-18, 7th in the Eastern Conference, and the Pacers, like you said, Justin, 10th.
Okay.
18-19. But to be fair, it's everyone from basically 10 to 4 could flip-flop within a matter of like 2 or 3
games. Yeah.
True.
So it's like, yeah, they're ahead of them at the moment, but the season is far from over.
But
this is going to be exciting at the end of the season, especially, for me, like the Knicks being right in the middle of that. That's going to be fun at the end of the season.
Sticking with Caris LeVert, this should be really exciting if you're a Pacers fan, because having watched him since like he was drafted in 2016, he was actually drafted by the Pacers, but he just got better every single year, and I think that his role in Brooklyn was limited because obviously we have 2 superstars, and I think on a team like the Pacers, he's going to really be able to show off like what he can do like by himself. Also, in terms of like the Pacers getting rid of Oladipo, this is really like they have pretty similar playing styles. Caris LeVert is high intensity on defense. On offense, he'll give you buckets. And I don't know. I think if he can start sooner rather than later, the Pacers can be one of the middle pack, like 6th, 5th seed teams.
Yeah, I mean they got a nice lineup.
They do.
The possible starting lineup could be what? Brogdon, LeVert, Warren,
Sabonis, and Turner.
Sabonis and Turner. I don't know how I forgot about Sabonis. I completely forgot about
one All-Star.
That's a great starting lineup. And they got a nice bench. They got two of the 3 Holiday brothers off the bench.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
TJ McConnell.
I hate that guy. I hate TJ McConnell. He got a nice little triple-double the other day. I got to give it to him.
Yeah, I can't hate on McConnell.
He's the 11th player, I think, in NBA history to have a triple-double with points, assists, and steals.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, we got steals. Oh, I didn't see that.
I think he had 11 steals.
That's nuts. That's really nuts. Good for him, though. No, I do. I mean, the Eastern Conference playoff picture is crazy. And there's going to be a lot of really good playoff matchups this year, I think. Because, I mean, the Pacers I would imagine the Pacers are going to be in the playoffs. And they're going to face one of the top seeds. That's going to be a good series. The Knicks, they play hard. They're going to compete with whoever they get matched up with. The Heat,
Knicks,
they obviously have the playoff experience, And then the Raptors are another team. I mean, depending on what happens with Kyle Lowry, a lot of people are saying he could potentially be traded. So that could obviously hinder them.
the trade deadline is gonna be crazy.
I've been seeing so many rumors with the Knicks.
I don't know what I want us to do. All right. Well, we're not even talking about the Knicks. We're not even talking about the Knicks. We'll talk about that later.
When we approach our episode that nears the trade deadline, we'll certainly have to talk about.
That's gonna be great.
I can't wait.
I think that's in 2 weeks, the trade deadline. So it's coming up soon. It's coming up very, very soon.
Yes.
But now we can, I guess, transition over to the Western Conference and a team in the Western Conference that got some good news as well. Another one of their star guards coming back at being Portland's CJ McCollum had been cleared for contact practice as he continues to recover from his left foot fracture. Before the injury, he was having essentially the best year of his career, averaging 26.7 points per game and 5 assists. But he has not played a game since January 16th. So, I mean, we were just talking about how Caris LeVert could potentially impact the Eastern Conference playoffs. How does CJ McCollum's potential return impact the Western Conference playoffs? The Blazers at the moment are 21-14, fifth in the Western Conference. Yeah. If the season were to end today, they would be playing the Clippers in the first round.
Oof. Well, definitely this makes their team better, obviously. With his scoring ability, it really, I guess, takes off a load from all the other players who had to pick up his scoring, when he left. Also, since I think they were starting Gary Trent, I think he's going to be coming off the bench now. And I think if he can mesh well with the Basin, it's going to be really scary. Contrary to popular belief, I do think that McCollum and Dame mesh pretty well together in terms of like their style of play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're out of the. I think they can still make the finals, but it'll be very difficult. I'll say that.
Well, along with CJ McCollum, Jusuf Nurkic is being reevaluated on his wrist injury next week. So if they get themselves a little CJ and a little Nurk action, I mean, besides Zach Collins, who's out for the season, their whole team is going to be healthy. And I've got to say, I think since Dame was drafted, this might be the best Portland team we've seen. This might be the deepest, most talented team they've had in a while. And they're only behind Phoenix, Utah, and the LA teams. I think if you were to put this team against Phoenix, Utah, and the Clippers, I think they come out top in a 7-game series.
Really?
Yeah, I think they would.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for someone that got to watch them up close and personal against the Nuggets 2 years ago, CJ McCollum is really one of the most underrated players in the league, I think, because I think from watching that 7-game series with the Nuggets and the Blazers, Damian Lillard really wasn't doing all that much against the Nuggets, at least relative to what he does to other teams. It was really CJ that was carrying the load because they would just give him the ball and no one else could stop. Like you have to have like two elite perimeter defenders to stop those two, or else you're going to be in trouble because Damian Lillard, obviously, one of the best scorers in the league. But CJ, even 2 years ago, he was giving them buckets. Now he's improved, having one of the best seasons of his career. Yeah, he's going to be coming off an injury, but this could change a lot. I think you're right, Justin. I would probably take them in a series over the Suns. Maybe the Jazz. I don't know because their defense is like lockdown. Clippers, maybe. I don't know. That's tough because if you do have Kawhi and Paul George to defend them, but I don't know. It's going to be close. I think it changes a lot. McCollum changes a lot. They need Nurkic back, though.
And he hit that game winner off you guys, right? Off the Nuggets 2 years ago.
I think so, yeah. In Game 7, I think it was. That was
dirty.
Heartbreaking.
This might be like the weirdest like thing I could possibly say about a player, but I think CJ and Klay Thompson might be like the two players, like the two best players in the league, the two best second options on the team who step up when the first option isn't playing well. When Curry isn't playing well, Klay goes and drops 60 in 3/4. When Dame isn't playing well, CJ drops a Game 7 game winner on the Nuggets. Like, they go off when their star player isn't playing well.
Yeah, I think there was that. There was like he hit a shot against them in Game 7, but there was like that quadruple overtime game that I don't know if it was him that made that
I'm
shot.
pretty sure it was him. I thought it was a step back or like a cross.
I think it was Rodney Hood that made that, actually.
Really?
I mean, there was a ton of clutch shots
he got
in that
the
game.
block.
So he probably he definitely did something, but there was a lot that happened in that series. But no, you're right, Justin. CJ can carry the Blazers almost as effectively as Dame can. And I think that's why they work together well. Like, they are like really similar players, honestly, like offensively, and they don't really, I mean, they can play defense, but they're not elite defenders, I would say. But
I always saw CJ as more of like an ISO option, like Dame more of like a facilitator.
Yeah, it's just those two, man. It's tough. The Western Conference playoffs is going to be a bloodbath. It really is.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going to be the two LA teams, if not the Jazz. I don't see the Trailblazers beating the Jazz.
I feel like a lot of teams are going to be motivated to beat the Jazz. I just feel like nobody likes the Jazz.
I mean, that's true.
For some reason. I feel like a lot of them are just going to be like.
But don't forget, the Jazz are hungry after the Nuggets hit that buzzer beater last year.
Yeah, the Nuggets got payback.
Blew the fire in them.
That's why they're the best team in the league right now, or at least record-wise. But that doesn't necessarily going to translate into wins in the playoffs. We can talk about a little bit what happened with the Jazz. I mean, so referees have been the topic of discussion lately. Numerous players, including Utah's Donovan Mitchell, had been ejected from a game in recent weeks. Other players, including J.J. Redick, Devin Booker, Mitchell and his teammate, Rudy Gobert, they were both fined on Friday for their post-game comments criticizing officials following a loss to the 76ers. I was watching the ending of that game. I could see why he got ejected, but I don't know if it really warranted an ejection. It was, I don't know, on the fence. But there was a lot of calls, ticky-tack calls throughout the game that kind of built up to that moment. And that's what I feel like a lot of people don't see. So, but what do you guys make of the uptick in ejections and technical fouls this year? Because I feel like more than any other year, there's been a lot of criticism of officiating this year.
Justin, I'll let you start because I'm about to go off.
Okay. So this might sound a bit ignorant, but this sport is about the players. It's not about the refs. These players are going through playing in a pandemic with some of the most strict protocols for COVID in sports, and they can't see their families. They have stuff going on outside of basketball that's way more important to them than this game. So when these refs are making bad call after bad call after bad call for almost every team in the season, or for almost every team in the league, like the players are like, what the hell, man? Like, what are these calls? Some of the calls are just so bad. Like the one on, I can't remember who the Sixers were playing the Jazz. That's who it was. Joel Embiid goes up for a dunk, gets stuffed by the rim, and the refs call a foul. And all 5 of the Jazz players are like, who could the foul have been on? And when it's calls like that, even I would have to be like, ref, you're trash. Like if I get ejected, I get ejected. Like at that point, they got to know that they're making a terrible call. So I think honestly, like as ignorant as it might be, the refs they got to start calling what's best for the players, what's best for the league, what's best for the fans, what everybody wants. As much as that might ruin a game, it's not going to ruin it as bad as kicking out the best player on the team and giving them no chance to win the game.
I agree. I hadn't thought of it like that, but I agree with you. But the refs have been so bad this year that I actually created a list of not all the bad calls, but just some of the most terrible, trash, technical that have just been just this year. Okay, I'll start off something light. Boogie Cousins gets a technical for asking the ref how the foul was a call. He gets called for a blocking foul when he thought it was a charge, and he got up and he went like this, and the refs gave him a T, and that was that. Number 2, Kelly Oubre blows a kiss at Trez, gets a technical. On January 18th, 2021. Number 3, Draymond Green picks up his second tech and gets ejected after yelling at his teammate James Wiseman. I guess.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
I guess the refs thought he was yelling at them or something, but number 4, March 3rd, 2021. Montrezl Harrell gets ejected or gets a technical for yelling and one after a made basket. Number 5, March 2nd, 2021. Devin Booker gets a technical foul arguing, which was warranted. Bounces the ball to the second ref and gets his second technical. And this was a normal bounce pass. After the game, the refs, I guess the ref organization or whatever, they warranted it by saying he was passing to the ref with force, whatever that means. Number 6, February 5th, 2021. I was watching this game. Fred VanVleet gets a technical for talking to his coach during a jump ball. I guess he yelled something to his coach that the refs thought they were yelling at him, and he had a technical. 7, JJ Redick is ejected for passing the ref to a ball. Passing the ref to a ball. Passing the ball to a ref.
I wanted to say I had that one written down because I was going to say that might be the worst ejection I've seen since Tim Duncan got kicked out for laughing when he was on the bench. He was laughing at the call. And they kicked him out.
Yeah.
He literally call a foul call. He just has the ball in his hand. And he's like, all right, sauces him a nice little pass to the ref. like puts a little bit of spin on it.
Put some English on it.
It had no force. Like, you know how they said the Devin Booker pass, he had force on
which
it?
it didn't, but
Bro, JJ Redick passed it like I was checking the ball up with you, Toby, like playing one-on-one. Like, he literally just passes it like that, and the ref catches it and then calls it T and kicks him out. Like, what are we saying?
yeah, that was this one might have pissed me off the most. Just
I don't even
because
like JJ Redick, and that really made me mad.
like the ref had so much reaction time to just catch the ball, and he let it hit his knee and then gave him a technical. And then I just wanted to list this last one because it's a James Harden one, but James Harden gets a foul called on him, doesn't argue. He drops the ball where he is and starts running back to defense, and he gets teed up because he didn't pass the ref the ball.
Well, if he had passed it, he would have passed it with too much force.
Exactly.
And out.
Like this is why the NBA gets a rap for being soft, or at least this is one of the reasons, because back just like 15, 20 years ago when you had Kobe and AI and you had Garnett and they were all talking trash to each other, you would hardly see any technicals. And even in other sports too, like baseball, football, I feel like it's way more like they understand how competitive these players are.
What even is like the technical equivalent in football? Is that like unsportsmanlike conduct or something like
Yeah,
that?
I'm pretty sure. Just like a flag. And like
the only thing I'll say I feel like the reason is because of the empty arenas and the fact that the referees can literally hear every single thing the players are saying throughout the game, and that builds up over time. And like if you're not watching, even us at home can't even hear what some of the players are saying throughout the game that are leading up to the technical foul. Like the JJ Redick thing, I remember like a few plays before that, I think he got called for a foul, even though it was like a push off and he was jawing at the ref for a little bit. And then, on the other end, he was called for an offensive foul, I think. And then that's kind of how he got ejected after he passed the ball, of course. But, it's a lot of little things that lead up to these ejections, I think.
I feel like the refs have such a short leash with like letting players vent their frustration, at least compared to other sports like baseball, where if he calls a strike and you think it's a ball, you can like voice your frustration with respect, obviously, but like you can't even talk to a ref nowadays without getting the T.
I mean, if we're being honest, does anybody really respect the refs in NBA basketball?
I think that I was listening to a show with, I think Rajah Bell was saying this, the former player. He was saying like what referees need to understand is that I guess it's different this season, but in any normal season, the fans are not there to see referees. They're there to see the players. And when the referees continuously are making poor calls that force players to either get ejected or just sit on the bench because of numerous foul calls, that's bad for the game. And like, yeah, you obviously have to call foul when it's a foul, but like little things like this should not be happening because it just takes away from the overall product. So, yeah, it's bad.
They should just do what the fans like. I think honestly they shouldn't be so strict with taunting, like especially after somebody has like a crazy contact dunk or something like or a crossover.
Yeah.
Because like that makes the game exciting.
I don't understand what's so bad about a stare down. Like I dunk on you and all I'm doing is looking at you. Like I don't gotta say nothing. All I gotta do is look into your soul. And like what warrants getting kicked out for looking at somebody?
Because I feel like it's because it can lead to other things like fights.
I mean it can, but like
because that happens once and then on the other end that same player might get that player back, and then it's like, yeah,
Okay.
what's up? And then
That's
and then-
basketball.
Good
That makes it
basketball.
exciting.
Yeah,
though.
but
That's
then
good
it boils
basketball.
then it boils into something that's not okay, you know.
I mean,
But that's when you're supposed to stop
That's why
it.
they
though.
have to stop it. No, but you have to stop
No.
it early
Okay,
before
no,
it gets
but
to that point.
that's when the players need to be like, it's just, I mean, it is like a professional basketball game, so I guess there are like stakes behind it, but like you dunk on somebody, then they dunk on you back. It doesn't warrant throwing a haymaker at them. Like, it's just
Basketball.
the players need to know where the line is, but then the refs also need to understand that players are going to cross the line, and sometimes it's like, how far did they cross the line? Are they threatening you, or like, telling you you're trash at your job, or are they just saying like, I don't agree with the foul call?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at it from their perspective also. Like, they're just trying to call the best call that they think is right, and then they're getting like cursed at and
Well,
you know.
yeah, but like, okay, obviously you're affecting
I'm just saying,
the
like,
outcome of a game. Like, obviously they're gonna.
I'm just saying some technical fouls are warranted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Most
Like,
I'll say, but there is a problem with
I
refereeing.
don't even know if I would say that. I wouldn't say most technicals are warranted.
Would you say it's like 50?
I would say it's like 35, 65.
Really?
Yeah, I think a lot of the time they just give a guy a technical for raising his voice. Like what Jorie said, the refs can hear everything now. So I think that might be part of that, how they just kick people out just to kick them out, because they can hear them say one thing throughout the whole game and they're like, yeah, whatever, you're out.
True.
Like, I'm surprised Melo hasn't been kicked out for getting the board and fuck out of here, I got it.
I'm surprised by that too, to be
Because
honest.
he screams it after every board he gets. He's yelling it.
Yeah,
I
but I
guess
guess it's not
it's
directed
Melo
toward
perfect.
any officials or anything like that. So
I think there was when Michael Jordan dunked on Dikembe does his finger wag. The reason Michael Jordan got teed up for doing it was because he directed the finger wag at Dikembe. Dikembe, whenever he did it, he would turn around to the fans and be like, "Yeah, not in this time."
That's not true though.
It's not really.
Look at the video replays, bro.
Okay,
He would do it.
okay.
He would do it in their face, like, get that shit out of here.
I don't know. I remember when I like watched a thing about it. That was the reason whoever was talking about it was like, yeah, that's why Michael Jordan got teed up, because he was directing it towards a player.
I mean, probably because he turned around and like literally did it, but
Like D Wade didn't get teed up when he stepped over Farazao. That might be one of the most disrespectful
yeah,
things.
but in today's NBA, that might be a technical.
I would have given him a T. I
But
would have
that's-
given Scottie Pippen I would have suspended Scottie Pippen for dunking on
Okay,
Patrick Ewing like that.
That was different, but you're a Knicks fan also.
I hate that guy, Scottie
I mean, he
Pippen.
put his nuts in his face.
I know. Like, he
Like, that was
literally teabagged him, bro. Like, it was like he thought this was a Call of Duty lobby.
gosh. Oh man. Yeah, it's crazy. Referees, man. I'm ready for fans to get back in the stadiums. 'Cause it just makes the environment so much better.
Yeah, facts.
But I guess our last topic of discussion, not necessarily related to the NBA. I mean, somewhat, but it's pretty interesting. So on Wednesday, Imani Bates, who is the top-ranked player in the class of 2022, who originally committed to Michigan State this past June, is now said he's most likely not gonna play college basketball, and instead is going to await the most lucrative deal the G League can muster. So he obviously just wants to go straight to the pros. And that said, the multimedia company Overtime, they recently started, or they are reportedly will be starting a professional basketball league for high school basketball players. as an alternative road to the NBA called Overtime Elite. It's going to begin in September 2021, and it's going to feature 30 of the nation's top prospects from ages 16 to 18. The athletes will be given a guaranteed minimum salary of $100,000 in addition to bonuses and equity in the league. So, I mean, what do you guys make of just I guess this league in the G League now kind of becoming more and more popular among some of the top players to come out of high school?
I want to hear what you got to say, Toby, because I got a whole thing about this.
Okay, well, I mean, actually, specifically for Imani Bates, I'm excited to see what he can do when he plays in the G League against like former pros and stuff. But I think this is huge. In a few years, I think we're about to see like way more straight out of high school, like to the draft than we did even when it was allowed, when T-Mac and LeBron and all those players did it. I think we're about to see a whole new wave of just high school players going straight to the NBA. But in terms of the overtime league, I think it's a good business move for them. But I don't know how it's going to work, if it's going to be like a bubble type thing, if they're still going to have to go to their high schools, if they're like, I just don't know how they would like configure that together.
Well, I think it's just a horrible idea. One, I think it's going to put too many different options on the table. I think if you have too many different ways players can go, it'll make it harder for players who deserve a spot on an NBA roster to get that, because it'll be all the scouts are just going to be scrambling. But the reason I think it's a terrible idea is because back in 2018, LeVar Ball, father of Lonzo and LaMelo, made the JBA, the Junior Basketball Association, for the same reason. He wanted to get players to skip out on college like LaMelo did and have another way into the league. And this thing with overtime could be different because overtime is like a whole brand. It's made out of, a lot of different people. But the LeVar Ball League lasted one season. LaMelo or Jello, I think one of them won the MVP for the league, and then nobody came back. Everybody was like, yeah, obviously this was just a whole thing to get LaMelo and Jello in the league. But if players can already go through college, the G League, overseas, or just wait until the one and done rule is away with and then just come out of high school, I don't think there needs to be another league for players to play in to get to the NBA. I think it's just going to be a waste of time.
I had a feeling. That's funny that you brought up the LeVar thing, but I do think it is going to be a little different because I feel like a lot of people didn't see LeVar Ball as a very genuine person. Everyone just kind of clowned whatever he said.
Yeah, I agree.
Despite the fact that look at his sons now. Like, you can't even deny what he was saying. He said, my sons are going to be like superstars. Lonzo, maybe not so much, but he still has a lot of time to grow. And LaMelo has been one of the best rookies this season, if not the best. Like, you can't even really deny what he was saying. So he was really ahead of his time.
He was.
People couldn't see past his obnoxious nature, I guess.
I don't know. I just think that this overtime league, it's going to be for players like Julian Newman, like players that just have hype for no reason, and then they go and play in this league to get more hype, and then they're just going to not be good. Like,
with what you said earlier, with like the too many options thing, I actually kind of disagree with you, because I think that with all these different like outlets where you go high school, college, league, overseas, overtime league, I think that will allow for more opportunities for these great young players to be showcased and then really pick, that'll really show like who's a lot better than the other players. And ultimately, I just think it'll be more, what am I trying to say? It'll showcase a lot more great high school players than maybe we're accustomed to seeing.
That I can see that. I can see how it'll give high school players exposure, which could be good, but I think there's too many different types, there's too many different skill levels to evaluate. Like somebody who goes to Amani Bates, like if he went to Michigan State, he's going to go up against a different competition than if he played overseas or if he goes into this overtime league. Like there's already different skill levels as it is now. I think if you add another one, it's going to be a little too like. Ugh.
Keep in mind that overtime league is only for 16 to 18-year-olds, so it's before the time that they're going to go professionally anyways. It's just for like high school juniors and seniors mostly.
Well, yeah, but that's what Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga are. And instead of playing other 16 and 18-year-old men, they're playing kids. They're playing grown-ass men.
Freshmen, and they would be
they're freshmen
in college right now if they were.
Oh, they would be?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait, can you go to the G League instead of playing in high school, or you have to finish high school and then play in the G League?
You have to finish high school.
You have to finish high school.
Okay. I thought you could just be like, a sophomore and be like, yeah, I'm done with this high school.
No, that would be crazy.
I think that's what this is essentially like what they're trying to do.
Okay. That changes my whole perspective.
You just didn't understand what it was.
I mean, I still think it might be a little too much. There might be too many things going on, but it might help some high school players. If you were Amani Bates, would you join this league, or would you go to the G League after you finished?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
I feel like it doesn't even matter with him. Like he's gonna be.
He knows he's that good.
He's the next Kevin Durant. That guy's gonna be nice.
Jorie, I want to hear what you have to say about this because you always have something to say about like young players.
I mean, I think it's. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be good for the prospects in high school that don't get a lot of attention. Like we always hear about Amani Bates, that Chet Holmgreen guy, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
Like all the top high school players, but we never hear about some of the lower tier players, not even lower tier, just players that are below those top prospects. I feel like this will be a good opportunity for them. And not only that, I mean, $100,000 as a minimum salary is pretty ridiculous for a high schooler or a high school aged kid. But we'll see. It could have its benefits. It's going to have its negatives. But you mentioned the one and done rule, Justin, a little bit earlier. Adam Silver, he also mentioned that the one and done rule, which essentially forces high school athletes or high school basketball players to at least be 1 year removed from high school to enter the NBA draft process. They're saying the NBA could do away with that as early as 2022. So what do you guys think of essentially just allowing high school players back into the NBA draft?
So that's what it is. They graduate high school and then they're eligible for the draft.
Yeah. Yep. That's where I was going earlier, where I said we're going to see like a whole new wave of just high school straight to the draft.
Yeah.
Like, even more so than we did in the early 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, if I was It's gonna have its goods and bad scenarios. Some players are gonna use it and they're gonna come into the league and they're gonna be a LeBron, a T-Mac, a Kobe, whoever. And then there's gonna be other players who come out of high school, come into the league, and they just get muscled around. Everybody's bullying them. They can't do anything, and it might have an effect on the rest of their career. They might have like like an internal like I thought I was ready, and it turns out I wasn't even close, and now I don't know what to do with my career. So it could be very good. It could be very bad.
That's the risk you got to take.
Yeah.
That's the risk teams always take with.
You got to be a smart enough person and a player, too, to decide whether you want to do that or not.
Confident. Like Kobe had natural confidence.
Yeah, yeah. LeBron had just natural, not even natural. He had like, just unnatural. That guy's a god. That guy was an alien.
Freak.
Yeah, like players like that. Yeah, but like if you're a player like a high school player like that guy Josh Christopher, who's playing for Arizona State, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I saw him playing in high school, and I was like, yeah, he's good against high schoolers. But is he going to be would he be able to go to the league straight out of high school? And a player like him, I'd be like, wait, I got to go to college or the G League.
I don't think LaMelo would have been as good if he came straight out of high school.
Really?
I think he needed that year overseas to really.
I think he needed that year at Spire with that guy, guy who was like, yeah, I'm going to basically be your agent or whatever, or your trainer.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
That guy actually clutched up for LaMelo.
Like if they didn't have the one and done rule, I feel like Zion would have definitely came straight out of high school. And he probably would have been a similar player to how he is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, not as good right now, but like, you know what I mean?
Who was that guy? Who was that huge kid that was playing on Spire? Rob Bob. What happened to that guy? You know who I'm talking about?
I don't think I do. I don't know who that is.
Rob Bob?
Yeah, you could just look up Rob Bob. It should come up.
But just the one and done rule, I feel like we're gonna see a lot of like raw athletes that come out of high school and make the NBA. Like Anthony Simons on the Blazers is someone that essentially didn't go to college. Like I think he just came like straight out of IMG into the NBA. And another guy on the Thunder, Pokachevsky, I think his name is. He's like one of the youngest players in the league right now. And like it's just going to be a lot of teams and a lot of fans of teams are going to be really impatient with those players, I think, because they're not going to be like immediately great right away.
Yeah.
Except like maybe a very, very select few. Because we always hear about like, oh, LeBron came right out of high school and he was like the best player ever. But like, there's really like that's like a very like that's a 1 in like 1,000 chance like that's gonna happen. So
that guy. I think he's
camera
built soft.
Oh yeah, I mean look at him. But yeah, he was like 7'8".
7'8".
And he's going to Rochester University.
Wait,
to play back.
So, Jorie, what were you just saying? I forget what you were just saying. I had something.
You're gonna see a lot of like raw athletes.
Oh yeah, the one thing I don't want to see happen in the NBA is like, I don't want to see a lot of first year players and then the next year they're just out of here because they didn't progress. Like, I'm feeling that's what we're gonna see eventually, but like.
I mean, that still happens now. Think about guys like Anthony Bennett or like Jaleel Okafor.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's still in the league.
I mean, yeah, but he's not even close to what people thought he was going to be.
But I don't want people to give up on the players too early, like before they can fully develop. And like, sometimes you just have a bad season or you don't mesh well with the coach, and stuff like that happens.
That's what could end up happening. That's why I feel like it's going to end up happening a lot because we already do that with players that come out of college, you know.
That guy, like Romeo Langford, that guy's career is over.
That's, like, if they're not good within the first year or two, then they're labeled a bust when they're still only like 21 or 22 years old. Like, it's really crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
you think, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, Giannis and Anthony Davis are like entering their primes. Like, they're entering the beginning of their prime. They haven't even hit like the best versions of themselves yet. Like,
I mean,
players who are younger than 25. Yeah, players who are younger than 25, you can't give up on them, I don't think.
I
Like,
agree.
no matter how bad they can be, they can always develop into something. They can always develop into a solid role player.
But look at players like Luca, who's only like 22 or 21. Like, what is he gonna look like in 5 years?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, it's not gonna. Some players have their skills developed at a young age, but you can always improve, like, efficiency wise. You
Yeah,
can
it's like
always,
fine-tuning.
instead of putting up 20 a game, shooting 35% from three, you could put up like 18 a game, shooting 50% from three. I'd rather be doing that.
All right. Players
Yeah.
like him, though, you know, they're gonna change up their game once they're like 33.
Well, yeah, they're gonna develop like that go-to move, like Dirk. They're gonna develop that thing that nobody can stop.
Exactly.
Like, Harden went to Houston, he got traded to Houston. Like, yeah, he was like, an all-time great scorer, but then he was like, you know what, I gotta develop something that nobody can keep up with, and he hit you with that step back, and
Yeah.
it's over with. Like, Luka's gonna develop a move like that nobody's gonna be able to stop.
I mean, he already has a step back. Like,
Yeah, but like, he'll develop
So-
his own thing. Like, you know how Jokic has his own little one-footed fadeaway, Jorie? Like,
Sombor shuffle.
yeah. Carmelo had his little, the hezzy pull up. Everybody's got their thing.
Sir.
Everybody's got their thing.
Signature move. All right. Well, that's pretty much all the topics. Is there any other news? guys
What were we
saw
going to
this
talk
week?
about the next, Toby? We were talking about the next, and then I said, let's talk about it later.
I don't know, but I was gonna mention something really quick. Shout out Miles Powell for signing a two-way contract with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes, sir.
He's gonna go off.
sir. See,
Oh, we were talking about trade deadline moves with the Knicks. What the Knicks should do at the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know. Dude, I don't know.
wait. Before you, I guess we could say this. Who do you guys think will win slam dunk contest, the 3-point contest, and the skills challenge?
B for the
Do
dunk
that.
contest.
Who?
Who is in the 3-point contest?
3-point. All right, hold on. I gotta look it up. I'll tell you the skills challenge first. Skills challenge: Julius Randle, Sabonis, Vucevic, Chris Paul, Luka Doncic, and Robert Covington. Of those
think
6,
Chris Paul or Jokic?
I would. Jokic is not in the. I didn't.
Said
He
Doncic.
did say Jokic. Oh, no,
Said
before that, he
Doncic.
said Jokic. He was, that was the first guy you said.
Vucevic.
No, he said Jokic.
Vucevic, Sabonis, Julius Randle, Sabonis, Nikola Vucevic, Chris Paul, Luka Doncic, and Robert Covington.
Oh,
That's the
it's
6.
Julius Randle.
I think I'm cut between Julius Randle and Chris Paul. I'm gonna say Chris Paul.
3-point contest is gonna be D-Book, if he's even in it.
I don't
He's
think
not
he's
in
in
the
it.
All-Star game. I know that.
Oh wait, yeah.
I know Mike Conley's in it on the 3-point contest.
He's not winning it. I'll tell you that.
I got Dame.
Is
Yeah, I'm
Dame
pretty
in
sure.
it?
I thought he said he didn't want to be in it. 3-point contest.
I don't know why it's so difficult to find the players. All right. Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley, Jason Tatum, and Steph Curry.
Ooh,
I think Dame dropped out.
Well, then I think it's gonna be Steph. I don't think anybody else can compete with that guy. Nothing.
Steph could definitely win it. I think sleeper is Zach LaVine.
I was gonna say.
I think honestly, if I had to pick one, I think it's Zach LaVine because that guy is just.
I'm gonna go with a
different.
curveball.
But I didn't say my skills challenge winner. I think
I'm gonna give you a curveball. I'm gonna go Seth. I think Seth Curry.
Clown.
What do you mean clown? He's nice.
I think All-Star Game MVP. I think All-Star Game MVP is going to be either Giannis or Kyrie.
Okay, respectable.
I didn't want to say it, but that guy's like the only guy on this team now. Now that Embiid and
Really? That's
KD
what
are
you
only
think?
there.
That's
What
what
is the starting lineup? Their starting lineup is Kyrie.
Kyrie, Beal, Tatum, Zion, and Kawhi.
Oh, no, I'm going to throw Beal in that mix too. Those are the three that might win.
All right, I'll give you three. I'll give you Kyrie. I'll give you Harden off the bench. And I'll give you Steph Curry.
I could see Harden winning. I think a sleeper, Dame. But I feel like I always say that. And I don't know. In the starters, I feel like you have to pick a starter.
You just got to pick somebody who's going to be in the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Steph Curry.
That's a solid
Curry.
choice.
Steph Curry is my pick. That's my pick. Steph Curry. 3-point contest. Who did I say? I think Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Skills challenge. I'll go Sabonis. I'll go
Big
Sabonis. And then dunk contest, Cassius Stanley.
Nah, the Knicks are coming home with 2 awards, baby. Dunk contest champion and
Obi.
skills challenge champion.
I think Obi is definitely going to be competing in it, or he's going to be like close.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be Stanley.
Don't sleep on
Cassius
Anthony
Stanley.
Simons.
I'm going to be – no, he's not. He's not.
Don't sleep, bro. He's going to pull out something crazy, and you guys are going to be surprised.
He won't even get above
Well,
45 on a single dunk.
I do think Cassius Stanley is going to win, though. He's just built different.
I'm surprised they put him in the contest because I really didn't even think he was going to be there.
Yeah, me too.
I was thinking I wanted him there, but I didn't know if they were going to do it. But
I thought they would have done it with like somebody lame like Dame Lillard.
All right.
Team. All right, yeah, I think that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys.
I think that's all I got too. Shout out Nick Claxton. Shout out Miles Powell.
Shout out dunk contest champion Obi Toppin.
Yeah, you're gonna regret saying that.
But waste of an eighth overall pick.
Okay.
All right. Well, until next time, I guess it's a good episode. We'll see you. Enjoy the All-Star game. Peace
Team
out.
LeBron. Team LeBron. Let's go.
From myself, Jorie Mickens, and my two co-hosts, Justin Sadovi and Chris Tobias, thank you so much for listening to that episode of the Fullcourt Report NBA show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at FullCReport, on Instagram at the.fullcourt.report. Like and comment on this video and subscribe so you never miss a minute of action.